Welcome to the BoyFriends podcast, where we help you find your circle and your man. Did you do it again?
I know I did.
Oh my gosh.
Ron, you are fired.
And it is mouthed.
I'm Jarrod D. King. I'm here with Sarun and Renee. And we have another interesting topic for you. We are going to talk about how do you balance dating with intention versus just vibing and seeing where it all goes. So I had a conversation with some friends a few days ago, and I told them about this guy that I met on Hinge. Mm-hmm. And we were chit-chatting a little bit, talking about, gaming and like anime, all the nerdy stuff that we had in common. And then I was like, okay, so like, what are you looking for? Because on Hinge, like you can't really tell a whole bunch on your profile like that. Mm-hmm. So I was like, what are you looking for? He said, I just want to vibe and see where things go. And then he said, what about you? And I said, well, I'm looking for a relationship. Being single is fun, but I really would like to find somebody I can kind of share my life with.
Yeah.
And I got no response. I have not heard back from him since.
I guess you gave him the wrong answer.
Right. Well, I guess it really depends on your perspective.
Yeah.
Because it's like, on one hand, you kind of weeded somebody out who was not all that serious, but on the other hand, at least from my friend's perspective, it's like you don't want to place so much of a you don't want to keep reaching for what you want out of the relationship. Sometimes you just want to just kind of enjoy the moment and enjoy the people that you're with. And so I guess my question to you both is, how do you balance that? Because I feel like it's a little bit strange.
Yeah. So I feel like you're asking the wrong person, because you and I almost date exactly the same way.
Yeah.
I'm very much focused on like, I know exactly what I want, and that's what I want. If you don't want that, goodbye. And that could definitely come off a bit intense, which I'm trying to work on. And I think my best way for kind of balancing that is just, I don't know, like keeping it in the back of my mind of like, yes, yes, I want a relationship. I want it to be something pretty serious. Mm-hmm. But also that might not be this guy. So I need to like take a chill pill, see where it goes. And I think just, it's so hard to kind of, put it into words. It's more of like, just see where it goes. Be relaxed about it. Don't put too much pressure on it, and kind of weed them out based on if you like them or not, and not if they're ready for a relationship or not yet, if that makes sense.
Okay. I get what you're saying. So you're... I want to hear what Sarun has to say.
I'm just vibing.
I probably didn't articulate that very well, honestly. Yeah. I'm bad at articulating.
No, it's fine. It's fine. But I'm curious what you think, because I feel like you're probably on the opposite end of just...
Yeah, I'm just vibing. I feel bad if you go into my inbox in the dating chats. I'm that guy that you're probably talking about. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm horrible conversationist when it comes to the app. There'll be situations where, again, you transfer to Facebook or Instagram, right, from the dating app, and then or text. But for me, like, I feel bad because if I don't feel like it's going towards that route and they bring it up, and I'm just liking the vibe and just having these random conversations, whether it's 20 people, you chat with this one and I feel bad, this person for this like 1 week, and you forget about him for a month, and then you go to the next. But it's not, there's no like reason to like have these long conversations, and I feel bad. These longer conversations towards anything, if you're just feeling good that, hey, I have someone to chat with, or more for later. But yeah, I don't see my intent initially trying to find that one person until I feel it, right? Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's where I am. I feel bad. Yeah. I mean, or maybe I'm feeling guilty, but not bad, because I know I'm doing it and I'm going to continue to do it.
How dare you?
Yeah, I feel bad.
Yeah, it's just it feels like, you know, you're kind of in it's a bit of, not you, but I'm just saying, like, in general, it just feels, it's like because I feel like a lot of the dating experts, a lot of the people that I have listened to, it's like you have to know what you want and you have to kind of go for that. But at the same time, there are a lot of people out here where it's just like, okay, it would almost seem as though that advice is unrealistic. You know what I'm saying? It's like you almost have to be out here to just say, oh, I'm just going to see what happens. And then you have a bunch of people who waste your time. And so it's just like...
And then at the same time, you're like, oh my God, I could have been with like another person that could not have been wasting my time.
Right. So...
No, I get where you're coming from. I'm trying to find the balance myself.
Yeah.
Because like, I feel like sometimes I get punished for like knowing what I want.
Mm-hmm.
Like I want a relationship, and I feel like it's like weird that people think it's very intense of me to want that. I'm just like, it's not like normal.
Yeah. I don't know if the listeners can relate, maybe on the vibers side. And nothing offensive, but for me, if someone comes across that way, I do kind of shut down because I think there's baggage. Like something went on with them. And that's like really intense on finding the one. I think there's a whole list of these people that they have that didn't work out. And I don't want to be on that list. So why even put my application in? Gotcha. I don't know who else can relate to that.
No, that completely makes sense. And I totally get where people are coming from when, you know, someone like me is just like trying just to like date seriously. And I think it's mostly because like, I don't think I've ever had like the chance to have like a serious relationship. I truly don't know if it's my baggage because like I don't even tell them really that much about myself. Yeah. I'm just like I really do feel like I'm just chilling.
Sure. And it's probably our assumption, you know what I mean?
I know, I really do feel like I'm just chilling. And then they're the ones that ask me. They ask me, they're like, so like, what are you looking for? I'm just like, honestly, I'm not really looking for anything casual.
Yeah.
I don't even say I want something serious. I just say I'm not looking for anything casual, and then I'm just dropped off. Like, okay, well, I'm gonna leave you here.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, I mean, I don't know. Maybe we just say it too early. Maybe we just have to be very vague about it.
Firstly, they ask me.
I mean, like, how would you
do not ask me if you do not want my answer.
How would you feel if we're being intentionally vague about our wants and needs in order, like, I mean, would that be any better? Because I don't feel like that would be any better. I think you guys would read through the BS and be like, oh, there's something wrong here. You're not giving me the whole truth. But then when I give you the whole truth, it's like, oh, no, you're doing too much.
We can't win.
It's just, you know, it's a little bit like, it's hard. Strange. Yeah.
It's hard. And I think that oh my God, I honestly think that dating nowadays is just, there are just like so many, like, it feels like hoops that you need to jump through and then things that you need to crawl under, and then you need to take the side door and then find the magic key.
But you know the thing that really gets me though is that I feel like you know, I would say like 99% of the people that we talk to actually do want a relationship. You know, like even if they don't say it, even if they just want to, you know, but, you know, should that perfect person come along, they would be in it and they would be head over heels. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So why is it such a taboo thing to say it? Why is it such a taboo thing to be serious about, you know, kind of finding somebody that you're compatible with? And I feel like in the midst of that, you can still have fun and you can still start slow. But I don't know. Maybe my mistake was making it very explicit in the beginning. You know.
Listen.
I don't know.
I'm in the same boat. We're listening to Sarun right now because he's all about vibes, and you and me are all about truth telling.
I hear vibes, and I hear I'm gonna waste your time.
Thank you. Like, I'm just here to vibe.
There's a lot of wasted time in my inbox, so
yeah,
that's where I feel bad.
Are you wasting time, or are they wasting time?
I'm wasting their time.
Sarun. Okay, so I mean, so do you see it? Because that sounds bad. But do you feel as though it's more on the level of I'm just we're just talking and we're just having a good time and we're just, you know, wherever it ends up, it ends up. It's more, it's not just, oh, I'm here to gauge their interest and then just leave them, right?
I guess for me, it's an automatic thing knowing that I can't, the expectation that maybe it's my innate understanding, for me at least, that I don't think I'll find the person on the apps, right? Yeah. You know, just knowing that that's not where I'm going to find the individual for that long term, I guess.
So then why are you on the apps?
What, the chatting, getting to meet, you know.
Okay.
Wasting people's
so
time, not on purpose.
No, Sarun, that sounds like you're intentionally going on to an app to waste.
I guess okay, this is a great one. Okay, so as y'all know, I'm very busy.
Yes.
And the last episode we talked about groups, and I feel like that's where I go to my LGBT group.
Okay.
Just my connection with other gay people, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. And that's where I have my conversations. Hey.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's where I'm finding my community when it comes to gay, right?
Gotcha.
But in terms of like in real life, I'm busy with all these other things, and with being online, you have these other opportunities to join different groups. Right?
Okay.
So maybe that's where my intentions are.
So.
Wait, why are you using dating apps?
He wants to just chat
with the community, like, you know, having conversations about things. I'm horrible.
I love you so much, but we're gonna have a very serious talk. You can't do that because there are people who don't want.
But you can, but I feel like you have to be. Yeah. You have to be explicit about that. You have to. I mean, like, and there are some people who are. Now, we looked at your dating profile. Yeah. And you wanted all the things.
Yeah. Because I'm like vibing, like,
right.
Hey.
So I mean, like, I get it. Like, I feel like if you're only there to chat, like, you can still, like, it doesn't mean like you can't be open to anything else. But I feel like if that is your primary goal, is to chat and is to just have good conversation. You have all those boxes checked. You should just have chat checked.
But no one's gonna chat if you just have chat. Don't you think? Okay. Like, if you saw a profile and it's just I just want to chat.
Right.
Who's gonna chat with you?
Someone who just wants to chat.
Somebody like you.
Someone like you.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, but so it comes. So now I'm thinking, and you know, and I'm just gonna go here with you, Sarun, because it feels a little bit manipulative.
It does. It does.
But it's okay. Keep going. Sorry.
No. Go ahead. Say what you gotta say.
No. I think it's only manipulative if the conversations were manipulative. The conversations are just conversations.
Okay.
You know what I'm trying to say? That's the difference, right? It's not like me saying flirting or whatever. I mean, if it gets that way, that's, you know, some have gone that way, but. No, I would say majority of them aren't, you know?
Okay. So I will say it's not like that bad because you are just chatting. Like you aren't like saying like you aren't like gaslighting them at all.
Yeah.
If I see a profile that says they are interested in chat, networking, dating, relationship, and I want the dating and relationship, and I see those boxes are checked, that's the mindset that I'm coming into it
and
in.
I'm vibing because it may lead that way with you.
Okay.
Right? And there's dates and things like that, right? But if it doesn't go towards that, it's not going to end there, right? Relationship, because it doesn't, because I don't feel that bond or that connection.
Yeah.
You see? And I don't see anything wrong with that because it didn't go that way because I didn't feel it.
Okay.
You see?
Yeah, no, I just think that
Who can relate with me?
No, honestly, I think that there are definitely a lot of people out there that can relate to you.
Yeah.
My initial reaction is definitely like, bro, quit it.
I know.
But I kind of see where you're coming from, but I definitely do feel like you're casting too big of a net where someone could like get their hopes up.
Okay.
Especially when they're especially when you're talking with them.
Yeah.
You could definitely get their hopes up. And again, it's not too serious because you're not like going out on dates. You're not it's not leaving the app, but it also can kind of like suck for the other person.
Okay, so we've done a lot of correcting of Sarun's
Sorry.
behavior. But I do want to kind of go to the other side because I feel like, you know, maybe a lot of times there are people like us who get on these apps and just maybe expect a little bit too much, or expect everything in your profile to be factual.
You better be dating me.
Just kidding. But
dating me. Oh, that's scary.
But I mean, like, what can I guess the more hopeless romantics out there, what can they do to kind of have a successful, and I'm not even saying it's not just online, because this goes beyond that, I guess. But like, what can we do to kind of curb our expectations and not put so much pressure on the other person to be in a relationship?
Yeah. Again, still working on this. It's a journey.
What would you say to yourself, though?
I've been trying to tell myself to be realistic, because, like, I've proven to myself time and time again that most likely the guy that I meet in the bar is not the love of my life. The guy that I meet on Bumble is not going to enter a relationship. So I try my best not to get too excited, and I try very hard to be chill. The Virgo in my natal chart says otherwise. But yeah, just, I think being realistic with yourself and not putting pressure on yourself as well to, I think it's less putting pressure on them and more putting pressure on us to, like, finally find that person and, making them fit into what we want. Do you get what I mean? And so I think just being realistic and kind of, again, seeing where it goes, and maybe you can kind of catch early on that, like, this is not the person that you want to be in a relationship with. Give it just like a couple more weeks. I get it, wasting the time, I know. Just give it a couple more weeks, and if you're still solidified in that, just let it go. And maybe that'll make it a little bit easier. I know that's not the whirlwind romance that we're hoping for. Personally, I'm really hoping for, like, that whirlwind romance. Like, I need to hear Faith Hill singing in the background, or else it's not real.
Okay, be realistic.
So I need to be realistic, and maybe stick with Taylor Swift playing in the background.
Oh gosh.
But yeah, just being a bit more realistic, taking it day by day, and being less cruel when it comes to when I just cut them off, because I want to say that I have been cruel, but I feel like when I cut people off, I'm usually right about it. I feel like I'm usually right about it. Like this, oh my god, like this one guy that I dated, and he got into an argument. This is one of my red flags, is when a guy doesn't like the song WAP. Turns out he was a raging Republican. We don't want that. We don't want that.
It's, I think for me, like, I feel like I don't know. I feel like I don't put the pressure on people. I feel like, I feel like I've tried to find a happy medium between dating with intention, but not, like, trying to make this person my boyfriend on day one. I mean, I feel like there is, like, I have the wherewithal to know that is not realistic. And I know that there is a journey that we both have to kind of follow and see where this thing ends up. We may just be good friends. We may not be anything, but yeah, I mean, I always kind of get this, at least when I talk to friends, there's always this kind of idea that I am maybe a little bit too intense or something along those lines.
I don't think I'm intense either, but I guess we are. Are we intense?
Is your intention endgame? Right? Someone to end game with?
I try not to think that way anymore. I think I used to. I try my best to not think that way anymore, and just to kind of, like, see where it goes. Because also, I at least want to be in a relationship with one guy before I find the ultimate guy. Because I still haven't even been in a relationship. I need to know how they work.
Well, I mean, you know how relationships work, and see, that's the other thing, because I feel like a lot of people.
Don't, though, honestly.
Well, I'm going to explain it because you do.
Okay.
I'm telling you do. Because,
Okay.
and a lot of people like to say, oh, you've never been in a relationship. Well, I don't even want to get into a relationship with you because blah, blah, blah. You know, you don't even know. I don't want to be the first one to break your heart, whatever. They say stupid stuff like that. And I'm like, okay. But I'm like, we know how to be in relationships. Even though we haven't been in a romantic relationship, we know how to relate with people, period. I mean, and that's like...
You know what? You're right.
You know what I'm saying?
You're
like,
right.
we have friendships, we have family members. It's a little bit different, a romantic relationship, but, you know, it's not all that different. It's about respect for the other person. It's about compromising sometimes. It's about having tough conversations and supporting people. So we know how to be in good, healthy relationships.
Yeah.
So I don't see anybody having not been in a romantic relationship as a negative, to be quite honest. So that's just my perspective. So I want you to take that off your plate.
Okay.
So
It's just like I feel like nowadays, like I honestly feel like every time I meet someone new, I'm just walking on eggshells to not say or do the wrong thing, or else they're gonna be like, she's too intense. Or like then I don't speak, and they're just like, I feel like you're like you don't really have a personality. I'm like, well, I don't know what you want from me.
Yeah. Do you feel, Sarun, like somebody, like if I were to start chatting with you online or maybe in person or whatever, do you feel like a good piece of advice would be to like don't take this too seriously? Or I guess to more just kind of live in the moment, and if I don't talk to you tomorrow, that's okay, kind of thing. Like, what should be the expectation? Or should there be any expectation?
You know, everyone's so different, right? And it's like if we're talking about you and me, I think that your profile, it's back to the profile, if I saw it, it was like, he's very professional, you know, and that's not what I want to have chats about, right? So then and there, I knew I probably wouldn't have longer conversations about that. It's hard to say. Everyone, you know, I don't even have the answer for that. You know, I can't tell anybody, have your profile like this equals to some sort of success.
Yeah, well,
right?
it's not necessarily even a profile, but it's just like when you start that conversation with somebody, so that they don't feel like you just ghosted them or feel disrespected in any way because the conversation didn't necessarily go a certain way. I don't know, like, but I don't know, like, what advice would you give them as far as like if they start talking with you specifically, if anybody started talking with you, what kind of advice would you give to them so that they don't feel kind of ignored or like you were not serious about, or not just toying with them or something like that? Like, because I feel like, I'm sorry, I'm going on a little bit, but I feel like, you know, even in those moments where you feel like somebody has kind of been playing games or something, I feel like there was always a nugget of interest, of I don't feel like that was I don't necessarily think that was the goal from jump. And I think sometimes, not all the time, sometimes it just comes off as though the other person was playing games. You know, and I feel like you probably may have given that, based on what you've told me, you may have given that, what do you call it, the impression. But I know you, and I know that you're not somebody who likes to just play games with people. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, like, what would you say to somebody so that they didn't feel like that after speaking with you?
I think it's a me problem. I don't know it's a them problem though. Like, I don't, you know what I'm trying to say? Like,
I get you.
Who am I to tell them how to talk to me? You see, like, it's kind of hard for me to give you an answer for that, or myself, right? I think this is something where if I know myself in terms of these chats, right? Why am I having such far periods of time reigniting conversations? And I don't know what they're thinking or they're feeling. But I know for myself, I know, like, I'm having some fun conversations. It's a great day. My mood's up, so let's have a conversation. So I wouldn't give them advice of how to talk. That's kind of weird. You know, like, who am I to?
Here's how you talk to me.
Yeah,
so
it's kind of weird.
Well,
I
I'm
don't
just,
know.
I'm just, you know,
I think you're saying in general, right?
Yeah, that's all I'm saying. But I'm saying like, but also like, if somebody that you hadn't spoken to in a week or a month decided to say, hey, what's going on? Like, just pop back up on your
Yeah, I'll be like, hey, I was in LA. It was fun. It's like literal conversations we have. You know, so that's why I don't feel like, in my end, in my perspective, I feel like I'm not toying with them or anything like that. I'm being really real. Yeah. Of like what my day to day is. So
but are you saying like, hey, it was great chatting with you, but I don't want to date you?
But the conversation never even really goes there.
Okay.
Unless, you know, other ones that gone more, it'll be like, hey, here's my Facebook, here's my Instagram, here's my phone number. You know, let's meet up here. Or, you know what I mean? And then the realization why that goes anywhere, that's where it ends. Okay. Right? So I think that's why it's hard for me to say anyone else, just because it doesn't, that's my levels, I guess, of vibe check, right? Like, hey, we're on this level and that level and this level.
Yeah. I don't know. I think I would also say it's important to, like, if you do fall out of communication with somebody, maybe try reaching back out to them, even if it is a double text and you feel like you may look desperate or something like that. Like, I mean, if you like the person, if you feel like you had some good conversation, it doesn't have to be, hey, I noticed we haven't really talked in a while. What's the deal? Like, why aren't you talking to me? You can be like,
that is something that I need to work on, because like I don't like. And the thing is, like, I've been starting to like not care as much because like I just get tired of like having to play games, and so like I will triple text someone. Okay. And I don't care unless you tell me like, hey, this is not working out. I'm assuming that we're still good. Unless you actually tell me, or unless I'm just kind of like, all right, well, you're not fun to talk to, so I'm just gonna.
In some point, I don't know. Maybe it's I tend to run away when it feels obligated, right? Like there's an obligation to have conversation, and because when I feel obligated, it doesn't feel like genuine conversation anymore. Like, hey, good morning. Like I feel bad. I feel cold, but I'm not if someone texts me every morning and says good morning,
I'm with you on.
Why is it? This is the third good morning. Like, what's going on here, right?
Like, let's have actual conversation.
And it feels weird because it's like they're just saying good morning. It's not that deep, right? And in my mind, I'm like, is it an obligated friendship now? Is this an obligated anything? Like,
I think it's cute though.
And I feel bad.
I actually kind of like getting good morning to them.
And then when it stops,
like,
it's
when it become like a part of like their little morning routine, they're like, good morning. We're just like, oh, stop it.
Yeah. So I mean, I get what you're saying about like the obligation to talk with somebody. The whole good morning thing, it can come off very robotic. It seems like, okay, this is just what I do just to appease you and keep you there. Whereas you can text me at like 2 PM and be like, hey, what did you have for lunch? That would be a little bit more
what if they do
organic. Good morning, not every day though, because then it becomes a job, because then I have to say good morning as soon as I don't know. Maybe I'm different. But
I think we're all different.
I think we're all different.
I think we're all different.
I mean,
on the good morning text.
Like, I feel like I feel like you know when it's like a genuine good morning, and when this is, you know, I wake up and did I send you a good morning text? Okay, check. It's like you're checking off a box. You know what I'm saying?
Maybe. I guess I'm just used to saying good morning to everyone.
Do you text all your friends good morning when you wake up?
You know what? No. I mostly just text my mom good morning.
Okay.
Exactly. And I give her a good morning call.
Because if your best friend texted you good morning when you woke, I mean, and it's a little bit different because it's definitely not romantic, but
okay, maybe I guess not every morning, but I still think I appreciate it. I think it's really sweet.
I mean, I'll say good morning and then I'll jump into something that I wanted to talk about.
Yeah, that's good too.
But sometimes people will just text you good morning. And then it's just like, okay, good morning.
Okay, yeah, no, a good morning. I think like a good morning, and then what do you do? What are you up to today?
I do this thing where I Venmo people $5 and say, have coffee with Sarun wherever they are. And it's just them using that $5 to buy coffee and knowing that the coffee you bought was with me. Is that like good morning?
I think that's a nice gesture.
Right?
Yeah, no, do that, but give me like $40 to get my nails done.
Lunch, dinner.
But you know, you touched on feeling obligated to kind of have a conversation with people. I mean, like aside from the good morning text, I feel like whenever anybody, I feel like when the relationship deepens, then, like, do you ever feel, maybe that's where it comes from, because I feel like there's maybe like an incongruent deepening of the relationship. Like one person may feel a little bit strongly about the relationship and the other person may not necessarily be at the same space. And I feel like maybe that's where you're coming from, because I feel, because you say, like, you know, people will feel obligated, or you feel obligated to, like, talk with them. And I just feel like if you know, I don't know. I mean, like, you would feel obligated to talk to a good friend if they texted you, but it doesn't feel like an obligation. Like, you would know that, yeah, I have to respond to you because I respect this person. So you're still obligated to talk with the people that you actually like, but the people that you don't, I don't know. Do you get what I'm saying?
I think so.
Oh, you think so?
Kind of.
Because it just seems, I don't know. I'm just like, yeah, you're obligated. If you like me and if you want a relationship with me, yeah you're kind of obligated to respond to my text or talk to me.
Yeah.
Not.
And it's kind of weird. It's like, please don't say good morning. I don't want to go any further than friendship. Doesn't that come across kind of weird? Right? Like if they're doing it, I think the intention of that good morning. What is that good morning?
Yeah.
Right. It's kind of like, are you saying good morning now because you feel a great connection? Yeah, me too. Let's have, I feel the same way. Let's meet up, right, and then hang out, right? But I guess, how do you? And I guess this is a learning lesson for me, right? With and I have to accept that what I'm doing makes you, like, people who maybe think the same way you guys feel, raw, like feeling hurt, like some sort of not happy, not good, right? And I guess for me is like, what can I say or do, other than changing my uncheck some things, but what can I do to not make them feel that way and be more forward, I guess, without also being aggressively mean sounding. I don't know what that is. So this is a learning for me.
I think it's kind of difficult to find that, like, again, it's like this topic of like finding that balance.
Oh yeah,
it can definitely be really difficult on, I think, both ends, for someone who's looking for something not so serious and someone who's looking for something serious, because, like, you don't want to, the person who's like wanting not so serious, like, they don't want to give up the potential of possibly growing a bit more serious when they're ready. But then, you know, also just not want to get their hopes up, because, like, they don't know if they're going to ever be ready with you. So I do see that side of it, even though it kind of annoys me of like, okay, make up your mind. But I do see that side of it. So I think honesty is just the best policy, you know, just... It's awkward, but just saves, you know, it saves you from so many hurt feelings. Just saying, like, hey, you know, I'm down to, if you get that cue that maybe they're looking for a little bit more than what you're looking for, just say, like, listen, I want to be honest, you know, I'm just looking to kind of chat, get to know you. I'm not sure if, you know. Yeah.
Well, honestly, I would be like, if I were in your position, I would just say, like, hey, like, where do you see this going? And just try to get some feedback on what they're feeling. Because I feel like you may be, like, I wouldn't say this, but, like, you know, if you're feeling like they want to push the relationship thing a little bit harder, or you want to start dating or something like that, maybe get some clarity on that, you know? I mean, but that's just me, and I will do that. And people don't like clarity and directness.
I gathered that. I'm as the girl who preaches on honesty. I understand. Yeah, they do not like that.
But I mean, it could be refreshing for somebody. I know I would appreciate that if I were kind of hinting at, you know, let's, like, I like you, you know. I mean, I would be for it enough. Like, there are some people who just like to keep poking that dating button and seeing what happens. I like to push the button, and I like to put tape over it and let's say, let's go and have a drink or something. Like, and you will be able to be like, no, I'm not interested. You know what I'm saying? But some people just want to keep, like, seeing if you're interested. And I feel like, you know, on both sides, there has to be a little bit more clarity and directness, and maybe some bravery in just kind of saying what you're feeling, so that there is clarity in the relationship. Because, I mean, I think that's kind of where a lot of the hurt feelings come from, is because people aren't saying what they feel. There's a lot of assumptions. There's a lot of what ifs. And I feel like if there was more clarity, like that person who says, I'm feeling some more and you're not feeling, well, now I know how to move in this relationship. We can end up maybe they'll be good being just good friends, so I mean, I'm saying that for both sides, to be honest.
While you were sharing, I was like, the term, I'm talking to someone. I think that some people might think they're talking to me when I'm actually just talking. Right? Yeah. So I think that's that perspective of realizing that's some people might think deeper. And talking is you're not dating. You're talking to someone, right?
But there's so much potential.
So it's like, wow. You know what I'm trying to say? So it's kind of like,
but see, if it's not clear, because talking to someone, like you said, it means two different things depending on the context, and depending on the person.
Yeah, and I've been digging my own hole. I think it's one thing that's constant is I tend to just, I hang out a lot, right? I hang out with individuals. A lot of times it's one-on-one. I rarely hang out with big groups or like 5 people plus. It's usually just one other person when I'm going out. And most of the time it's not me doing that. It's just like, hey, I'm want to go hang out. Yeah. And I think that it's partly because of my nature of not, me in my, demisexual, if I don't feel it, as just, hey, it's a friend thing, hanging out and having dinner. And then when it's all my, if people see or whatever, they're like, why didn't you invite me? Or how come you don't come hang out with me? I didn't make those decisions. I just show up, like I'm just there. Yeah. And then they get hurt, and it's this weird thing inside my world. It's like, wait, I didn't even, what I'm saying? Let's say we went to lunch and then Renee sees. And then Renee's like, how come?
I'd be pissed.
You know what I mean? Like, how come? Well, you never asked me to go out and eat at the Cambodian restaurant
I'm kidding,
or whatever.
I swear.
I was like, well, just let me know. I didn't really initiate anything, right?
Right.
It's confusing, I guess, for someone. If I'm not feeling it myself, it's just friendship. It's just chatting. It's not deep. And I think that's where I hurt a lot of people. Where I know myself, when it's deep, I make it deep, and they know it's deep. But if it's not like that, it's always surface level for me.
Have you ever had a moment where you made it deep, but the other person was not feeling that?
Once, yeah, okay, for sure. And I was fine with that, right? Because it is what it is. Yeah, and I accept it. Yeah. I don't get hurt.
You were rejected once.
Well, because I rarely offer, right? Like I don't get the bond, so it doesn't hurt me as much, right? But in that situation, yeah, it was kind of like they brought up. It was going somewhere, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, did I ever talk to you about my partner? It was like, okay, yeah.
What a blessing. Right. Rejected one time.
But see, you don't have to see, and that's another thing. That's why I said last week, because our guest was demisexual as well. Yeah. And I was just like, there are some merits to being demisexual. There are definitely some very good pluses, so that you don't get your feelings all up in crazyville without knowing the person or without having created some sort of a bond or genuine connection. And I feel like you don't have to deal with, I'm not saying for demisexual, but I'm just saying, like, just in general, if you pursue those genuine connections, whatever those connections may be, whether it's friendship, if you allow the relationship to grow organically, then there's really a lot less of a chance that you're going to be rejected. You know what I'm saying? So I think the overarching lesson is to just let it be what it is. If you're really feeling somebody, it's hard, because when you get into that mindset, I feel like it's a chemical thing. I think they've said, like, love is like a chemical imbalance almost. It's almost like you're a little bit nuts. So it's a little bit hard to kind of see the situation for what it is when you're feeling that. But it's important to, I guess, ask the other person and to accept their answer. But I think on the other side, it's important to be cognizant of what you're putting out there, you know, of the vibe that you're putting out there. If you want to vibe, make sure it's the right vibe. You know, so yeah, you know, that's kind of where I fall on it. I also think, I don't know, I just feel like if you're on a dating app, why are but that's it's just so you know, it's kind of like it's built in. It's called a dating app. So why am I?
Well, I mean, don't you go on Facebook? Is Facebook a dating app?
Facebook dating.
Facebook, dating.
Like
Oh, it's called dating. Okay, I need to try this because I've actually heard some pretty good things about Facebook. I've heard some people have actually like really met people on that. So I'm gonna give that one a try.
Yeah.
Okay, so balancing and dating with, I feel like we talked all over this subject. I don't even know if we answered the question. How do you balance dating with intention versus just vibing and seeing where things go? Where is the happy medium between that?
I honestly think it's just being chill and not putting too much pressure on yourself or the other person. I think you are more than allowed to want a serious relationship, but maybe not go into every situation thinking that that's how it's going to end. Leave the opportunity open, but not put too much pressure on, okay, you got to be in it. Because, like, while you just definitely deserve that, I think too much of that up front can be a little, like, arranged marriage-y, you know? Like just, it's going in without thinking, it's going in with too much thinking and no thinking at all. So I think just vibe with it. If it works out, that's amazing. If not, move on to next.
Okay. All right. I will say that I feel like it's a little bit easier to gauge exactly what is happening in person if you meet somebody in person. Because there is no, like, they don't call it the dating bar. But they call the apps a dating app. And so when you go to a bar, when you're going to like some event where there's a bunch of people that you're meeting and you happen to like start vibing with somebody, then you can kind of see where things are. You can kind of feel it out for what it is. There's no expectation for dating. But if you're on a dating app, it's a little bit harder to get yourself out of the dating mindset because you're there to find love, or at least a lot of people are, not everybody, which is sadly not the case for all of us.
It might get there.
It might get there. Yes.
Oh my God.
It might get there. I'm just messing with you.
Enemies being made.
But yeah, as far as balancing dating with intention, I think you have to. I think what we've learned is when you go onto these dating apps, take the dating out of it, because that's not what everybody's there for. And it should just be more of like I don't know how would we rebrand dating apps? How would really rebrand it to mean friendship, or rebrand it to mean just
vibing app.
Vibing app. Yeah. Isn't there something called Viber? I don't know. I feel like there's an app. I don't even know if it's a dating app though.
We'll find it.
But yeah, just go into it and just start chatting with people. And if you match with somebody and they start giving you hard eyes and stuff, you know, do what Sarun does, I guess. I don't know.
What do I do? What do you
mean? Shut it down. No, I'm kidding. But I don't know. It's weird because it's like you start matching with people because there's some interest. So
but
how
the interest on a dating app is so surface level.
Just get off of dating apps. How about that? Yeah. That's my advice. Get off of dating apps and find, if you're looking for love, find somebody in person and let it organically grow into a friendship or into a relationship or whatever. Like the dating apps, there's too much going on for me. That would be my advice. I can't do dating apps like that.
Yeah, I guess for me, and if you, like, from the conversation relate to what I was sharing, you know, I guess really, really reflect on what you're saying in these conversations, and knowing that people might be invested more than you, and just, you know, figure out how to steer the conversations and on a friendship level, and just go towards that and not make it seem romantic, I guess. But being conscious that, you know, sometimes they are investing their time, and time is important, right? And it's like, know that you might be hurting someone and you might not know it. 23andMe is not a dating app. Those matches aren't the same, right?
Oh my god.
Wait, people match on 23? Wait, isn't that DNA?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Those matches aren't what you think.
Oh gosh.
Right? So, but anyway, yeah, it's just be more
That
conscious.
was so out of nowhere.
Oh, Sarun, I love you.
All right. Well, I want to thank you all for watching and for joining us again. Please like, subscribe, share, give us a comment. Let us know what you thought about the topic. If you have any ideas for conversation, leave that for us in the link in the description. There's a link where you can submit your questions for us to talk about. And until next time, if you have no one else, you got us.